Hello, my name is Yvonne, and I'm the owner of the Facebook group page JK Lifestyle and Travel. Today, we have Ms. Deborah Cooper joining us again today. She came before. I enjoyed her so much. I asked her to come back, and she's nice enough to come back. She is a relationship expert with over 30 years of writing a relationship advice column. She's written 5 books, 3 of them on relationships. She has a website. It's called survivingdating.com. And she has a YouTube channel. It's called, what is it? Depserism?
Debsterism, yes.
Depserism. And it's on YouTube/C/. Deborah Cooper. I'll put them in the notes so that anyone that wants to find her, you'll be able to do so later. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
Hey, girl. Long time no see.
I know, I know. I wanted to talk to you today. And the topic that I'd like to cover is about closure. When do you know it's time to end a relationship?
Well, that's a good question. I think it kind of varies a lot for women because from different women because there's certain factors that you have to consider. One is if you leave that guy, what's your next step? What are you going to do with yourself? What you going to do for money? Where you going to live? If you have children, how is that going to work as far as, visitation, child support? Can you afford a place large enough by yourself to house everyone? Will you have to leave the children with their dad? So there's a lot for women, I think, to think about, very practical things to think about, even though ending the relationship might make total perfect sense. And it'd be time to do that. You got to get all your ducks in a row before you actually make that move. So she may know that it's time for it to end, but not be quite ready to take that step yet because there's some things she has to put in place first.
What are the behaviors that a person will have? Like, say, for instance, what makes a person start thinking that it's time to get out of a relationship?
I say by the time you have that thought, it's time to go. It's time to go. But really, I think a lot of women stay too long when a relationship is not meeting your needs and it sometimes they're even abusive, like emotionally, verbally, or physically, or you're taking on way more responsibility in the relationship than that's fair because you're doing your work and his too, then it's time to reconsider that relationship. It's like what you have to ask yourself, why am I here? What am I getting out of this? How is this benefiting me? How is it making my life better? Because my thing is, if with all the stuff that a woman does for a man in a relationship, what we call emotional labor, listen to his problems and worrying about him and make sure he goes to the doctor and eats well and takes care of his kids and calls his mama and all that kind of stuff. Those are emotional labor. That's emotional labor. And women don't really get any credit for that because it's not tangible. Like men can't hold it in their hand, they can't see it. And so they don't really understand the value of that contribution that women make to relationships. So all of that, all of those things, if you're doing all of that kind of stuff and you're not getting much back, it's time to go. It's time to go, especially if you've already asked him numerous times and he gives lip service and then he just never follows through. I mean,
Mhm.
what are you there for? I know it sounds women are like, well, that just sounds so awful. That just sounds like I'm a gold digger. I'm just using him or something. But no, that's the practicality. If you're not getting something out of a situation like a job or I mean anything, why would you stay there?
I think a lot of people probably think, oh, it'll get better. It's a phase. He'll
Yeah,
realize,
hope.
he'll
Hope is one
realize,
of those words I want to die right along with nice. Just,
yeah,
eh.
you you want him to feel like to real. I think you want it to be like it was. You think that maybe it will go back to being how it was the first 6 months, the first year. Does it ever?
That ship has sailed. I'm gonna tell you what my daddy told me. I was about 17 and I had my first little raggedy boyfriend. And you know what? I didn't have any business having a boyfriend, but whatever. So I
Mhm.
go to my daddy and I'm like getting sick of this boy and I'm ready for, to move on. But I couldn't decide if that was the right thing to do or not. So I went to my daddy for some advice and I'm like, oh, I can't decide if I should leave him or not. I don't know what I should do. And my dad, knowing me, said, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do because he already knew that was, you don't tell me what to do. And he said, I'm going to just tell you this. Once roses start smelling like shit, they don't never go back to smelling like roses. That is a direct quote. So the decay and the rot and the mildewy stems and stuff that roses get when you have them in a vase of water. I pictured all of that and I was like, okay, well, yeah, this has a stench. I'm not really feeling this dude anymore. So I broke up with him. And I have lived by that motto ever since. I actually did a video on it on my channel, quoting him and explaining that thought process.
I
But you
think
guys,
that's
I think the roses don't ever go back to being all sweet smelling and perfect, and they just don't.
they don't. They really don't. If How does a person treat you when they're ready to go from a relationship? Like if you're in a relationship with a guy and then you start thinking, this is not going to work. I want it to, but it's not going to work. What is the behavior that the guy's doing to make a woman think that way?
Most men don't want to be the bad guy. I'd say 98% of them use this tactic. They want you to break up with them. So they start cutting up. They start acting up. You can't find them. They start lying. They start talking to you all kinds of crazy, giving you one word answers, coming in late, um, not really paying attention to what you say, um, standing you up for dates, just being obnoxious, just being ridiculous. Sometimes, if you're married and suddenly, he don't really want to sleep with you, he does no affection or something. They make promises and then they don't keep it. And then if you try to jam them up about it, they just blow you off and tell you it's your fault, it's your problem. They might start making little digs at you. Well, you gained a lot of weight. You're not cute no more. I don't like it. That's a turn off. And then they start picking at you. Nothing about you is good enough, whereas it was fine before, but suddenly it's not good enough. They may start comparing you to other women. Well, why don't you dress like so and so? You should get your hair done like so and so. You need to wear some more makeup like so and so.
Mhm.
So, those are the kind of things. So, in essence, what they start doing is picking on you and making you feel bad about yourself. That's the goal. But what they're looking for you to do is to have enough self-esteem and confidence that you say, "Look, I'm not taking this from you. Get out." That's what they're looking for you to do. So they can leave and feel okay that you'll be okay because you stood up for yourself. Instead, what most women do is try to work on it, beg him, let's go to counseling, give him second and third and 15th chances and all this kind of stuff. And while the guy's getting more and more disgusted with you, so he starts treating you worse and worse and worse until finally he can't take it anymore. Then he leaves.
Mhm.
That's what usually happens.
Something that's I was going to ask you that type of question, like why don't they just simply come out and just say, you have to excuse me, I'm suffering from allergies. I
Oh,
really feel
poor
bad.
thing.
Yeah.
That was me last week, so don't feel bad.
Okay. I was just thinking about, the closure. Like, say, for instance, if a guy just walks off, or say a guy disappears for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and a woman's, saying to herself, "Where is he? Do are we still involved? Are we still a couple?" Why doesn't if the guy you already answered why he doesn't come out and tell you, right out he wants out, but then a woman doesn't have that closure. Maybe a woman is the type she wants him to say, "Listen, I'm out of here. Goodbye." But he doesn't say that. So what does a woman do to get closure?
Okay, this is a multi-part question. Let me start with the actions. The first thing is, if a guy is treating you that way, that is him telling you that it's over. Men speak with actions. They don't speak with words. Women want to hear words. They want the man to say, "I'm sick of you. I don't want to do this anymore." You know why guys don't do that? Because women whine. They want to beg, they want to plead. Why? Oh my God, give me another chance. Oh, I won't, I'll change. They're not trying to hear all that. They just want you out of their face, like as expeditiously as possible. And women don't get that. They just, want to hang on and beg and go by his house and stalk him online. And, why won't he tell me what's going on? This and that. It's like you see what's going on right in front of your face. He's telling you how he feels about you by how he's treating you. Understand it and stop trying to make excuses. So then the second part of your question is about the closure. I am of the mind that you give yourself closure, if there's even such a thing. Because I mean, just using the term, I mean, because you use it and a lot of people use it. I don't think there is such a thing. I think it's some romantic fable that people heard other people say, and so they think they need it too. You
I
give
want
yourself
closure.
closure. You give yourself closure. When he's mistreating you, dogging you, and leaves you, you close the door behind him, and there's your closure.
Mhm.
I don't know what people be looking for. They want like this whole long drawn out thing. Oh, we cried on the phone together all night. And I
Mhm.
told him I still loved him. And, they make this whole big soap opera. It's like, oh my God, girl, please. All that energy you put into that, you could have made some money.
We shared. We spent the whole night sharing. And you know what? She probably hopes that by doing that, it's made him realize how much she loves him and made him realize that maybe I need to stay with this person, you know?
Please. You know what he's thinking? When is she going to get off my phone so I can go do what I'm trying to do? That's what he's thinking. He don't care about your feelings. That's the part that drives me crazy because I talked about this in the video too. They're like, I want to call him. I want to talk about our relationship. I want to get closure. And I'm thinking, okay, so if a dude is like me and you call him saying something like that, and he blasts you and blows your hair back and snatches all your edges off and tells you about yourself, and then you leave him crumpled on the floor in tears, what are you gonna do? You would better off just leave him alone, block him on your phone, never talk to him again, and go on with your life. Because I'm telling you, anybody who does that, all the dudes I broke up with, only two did that. And man, I lit them up. It's like, I'm not gonna use that language on your show because I like you and respect you. On my show, it would be different. But I lit them up because it's like, I'm sick of you already. I was sick of you. That's why I left you. Now here you are trying to come back and make me sick of you some more. Get out of here. And so that's what I try to communicate to the women. That's what the dudes are thinking. He doesn't care about your feelings. He doesn't care about you, what you think, what you want, what you like, nothing. Nothing. Leave him alone before you get your face cracked.
I really think I wish when girls are young, and I'm guys too, but mainly girls are young. I wish that they're trained to think a little differently. We always think, oh, the boyfriend, uh, the guy's coming in, my knight on a horse, and we're gonna get married and we're gonna have a happy life, and he's gonna be a good boyfriend. You know, it should be strategies about looking after your own needs, supporting yourself, self-worth, self-esteem, those type of things.
Exactly.
And to put your value in your own worth. You're worthy. You're worth the best. So if somebody's giving you, you know, something they want to throw away, pick up yourself and go on.
I mean,
But
everything has an expiration date. I think you hit on something real important that women have that, that Disney happily ever after mentality. So they think, well, because I love him today and he loves me today, that we're going to always love each other forever. And it doesn't happen. Even in couples who have been together for a really long time, they talk about how they cycle in and out of love. The thing that keeps them together is the commitment to stay there until the next in love cycle starts again. Whatever they have going on is what they may have committed to. But if you're single, my thing is you single, you're not married, there's no obligation to do that on either side. You're
mhm,
supposed to be going around until you find a person who feels that way about you, where they want to commit to you through thick and thin, or and you feel the same way about them, then that's the person that you marry. But other than that, you're just single. You're gonna love them for 3 months or 5, 6, or 2 years or something, and then you're gonna be on to the next one because whatever that relationship has met its expiration date. And don't be mad. Just go move on.
Mhm. That answers my question. And I want to thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
I just I like hearing you talk. I like it makes sense. It's not it's not hard advice. It's just someone taking something and putting it in concise, easily understood language.
That's what I try to do. That's why I have people. I have people from all over the world come to my channel. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I'm from Romania. I'm from South Korea. I'm from the Czech Republic. I'm from this." And I'm like, "What?" I can't. It's hard for me. Japan. I mean, South America, all kind of places. And so I try. Can you keep it in mind that English is the second language for a lot of these people? Um, Try to keep what I say. Make it simple. Make it simple to
Mhm.
understand. Simple concepts.
Mhm. I appreciate it.
You're
And this
welcome.
is Miss Deborah Cooper, and I will put her website and I'll put her YouTube channel in the notes.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Okay,
Okay,
bye bye.
bye bye.